Draymond Green is making headlines again, this time by calling out resurfaced details of his infamous fight with Jordan Poole, while also firing back at recent comments from Suns owner Mat Ishbia. Never one to hold back, Draymond addressed the ongoing chatter around that controversial moment, insisting the story has been twisted and that people need to hear his side. Then, in classic Draymond fashion, he shifted gears and reacted sharply to Ishbia's remarks, taking a direct shot that's sure to stir even more drama across the league. Between defending his reputation and sparking a fresh war of words, Draymond has once again put himself and the Warriors right at the center of NBA controversy. The NBA world never really forgets. Old controversies have a way of crawling back into the spotlight, and once again, Draymond Green finds himself at the center of a storm. Just when fans thought the infamous altercation with Jordan Poole had been buried in the past, new details have resurfaced, igniting another round of debate, speculation, and heated discussion across the league. But this time, Draymond is not staying quiet. He's firing back, calling out the narrative, defending his side, and directly reacting not only to the resurfaced fight story but also to surprising comments made by none other than Phoenix Suns owner Mat Ishbia. And the way Draymond addressed this situation proves once again why he's one of the most polarizing, unpredictable, yet captivating figures in basketball. Let's rewind the clock. The year was 2022, training camp for the Golden State Warriors. Expectations were sky high after winning another championship, with Stephen Curry cementing his legacy and the team appearing rejuvenated with a mix of veterans and rising young stars. But behind the scenes, cracks were forming. Tensions were bubbling, not just on the court but in the locker room. And then came the incident that shook the Warriors to their core. During practice, in front of teammates and staff, Draymond Green unleashed a punch that connected squarely with Jordan Poole. The video leaked. The world saw it. Fans, analysts, even casual observers were stunned. How could a championship team, fresh off a glorious run, unravel like that in a matter of seconds? Draymond faced immediate backlash. He was suspended internally, he apologized publicly, and the Warriors organization tried to contain the damage. But the scar remained. For many fans, that moment marked the beginning of the end of Golden State's dynasty aura. It was no longer the happy, joyful Warriors that dazzled with ball movement and brotherhood. Suddenly, trust was shattered. Suddenly, the question became, could Draymond and Poole ever coexist again? Fast forward to today, and Jordan Poole is no longer a Warrior. He was shipped off to the Washington Wizards in a deal that many believe was influenced, at least in part, by the fractured relationship caused by that punch. And yet, even with Poole gone, the story refuses to die. Recently, new commentary and insider leaks have brought the incident back into the headlines, sparking debates all over social media and sports talk shows. Fans are dissecting what really happened behind closed doors, who was truly at fault, and how much of the Warriors' struggles in the following season were tied to that infamous fight. And this is where Draymond steps in. The veteran forward, never one to bite his tongue, decided enough was enough. He's calling out what he sees as distortions, exaggerations, and flat-out unfair narratives surrounding that incident. Draymond's response has been sharp, unapologetic, and very much in character. He's reminding everyone that he's not just going to sit back while the world paints him as the sole villain in a complicated situation. To Draymond, the resurfaced details are not only misleading but also disrespectful to the bigger picture of who he is, what he's accomplished, and what really went down between him and Poole. But here's where things take an even more dramatic twist. While addressing the fight and the media storm around it, Draymond also took time to react to recent comments made by Phoenix Suns owner Mat Ishbia. Now, Ishbia has been outspoken on a number of NBA topics since taking over the Suns, and his willingness to voice his perspective has rubbed some people the wrong way. In this case, Ishbia's comments about player altercations, discipline, and team culture hit close to home for Draymond. And true to form, Draymond fired back. He didn't hold back his words, making it clear that he doesn't need an opposing owner, especially one who has had his own share of controversies with players, to weigh in on his situation. For Draymond, Ishbia crossed a line, and his reaction was vintage Draymond, bold, blunt, and impossible to ignore. The fascinating part of this entire saga is not just Draymond's words, but the ripple effect they've created. Warriors fans are split once again. Some see Draymond as defending his legacy, standing tall against unfair criticism, and reminding people that he's still the emotional leader of the team. Others view his comments as unnecessary drama that keeps reopening wounds, preventing the Warriors from moving forward. The media, of course, is eating it all up. Every sports debate show is running segments dissecting his response, comparing it to past incidents, and questioning whether Draymond is helping or hurting Golden State's chances of stability this season. Let's break down what Draymond actually said and why it matters so much. First, he addressed the resurfaced fight with Jordan Poole directly. He acknowledged once again that it was a mistake, that it shouldn't have happened, but he drew a line in the sand. He refuses to let people weaponize that mistake forever. He pointed out that countless NBA players have clashed in practice, that fights are not as rare as fans may think, and that the only difference in his case was that the video leaked publicly. To Draymond, that leak distorted the entire narrative. Instead of a private moment of conflict, it became a viral scandal. Instead of an internal team issue, it became a worldwide headline. And because of that, he believes he's been unfairly judged compared to other players who have had similar altercations behind closed doors. Draymond also called out what he sees as hypocrisy. He reminded people that NBA fans and media often celebrate old-school toughness, praising legends who had fiery tempers, who weren't afraid to throw punches or confront teammates. But when he did the same, the narrative suddenly shifted to demonizing him. In his view, you can't glorify toughness in one era and crucify it in another. That contradiction is what frustrates him the most. And in typical Draymond fashion, he delivered his points with passion, intensity, and that unmistakable fire that has defined his career. Now, when it comes to Mat Ishbia, Draymond's response was even more pointed. Ishbia had suggested that incidents like the Green-Poole fight reflect poorly on team culture and leadership, implying that organizations need to hold players more accountable to prevent such blow-ups. To many, Ishbia was simply making a broad comment about professionalism in the NBA. But to Draymond, those words felt personal, almost like a jab directed at him and the Warriors' locker room. And he wasn't having it. Draymond fired back by essentially telling Ishbia to focus on his own team before commenting on others. After all, Ishbia himself was involved in a headline-grabbing altercation with Nikola Jokic during the playoffs when the Suns faced the Denver Nuggets. Jokic shoved Ishbia after the Suns owner held onto the ball, sparking a viral moment that had the NBA world buzzing. Draymond wasted no time pointing out the irony. How can Ishbia talk about discipline and accountability when he himself was in the middle of a courtside controversy? To Draymond, Ishbia's comments were not only out of place but downright hypocritical. This reaction ignited a firestorm. Suns fans, Warriors fans, and NBA observers are all chiming in, debating who's right and who's wrong. On one hand, Ishbia is an owner, and owners are expected to set a standard for professionalism and leadership. On the other hand, Draymond is correct in pointing out that Ishbia's own actions have not always reflected that standard. The clash between player and owner adds another layer of intrigue, blending personal history, organizational pride, and league-wide narratives into one explosive storyline. But beyond the drama, the bigger question looms: what does this mean for the Warriors moving forward? Draymond Green has always been the emotional heartbeat of Golden State. His intensity, his fire, his willingness to speak out, those qualities have driven the Warriors to championships. But those same qualities have also created turbulence, drawing headlines that sometimes overshadow the team's actual performance on the court. Right now, Golden State is in a delicate position. With Curry still playing at an elite level but the supporting cast shifting, the Warriors need unity more than ever. Every distraction, every controversy, every resurfaced fight detail threatens to destabilize their pursuit of another title. And Draymond knows that. Which is why his comments, while fiery, also carried a deeper message. He's not running from his past, but he won't let it define him or the Warriors' future.